Hello, everyone, and welcome. This is Margarita from the Centro Colomboamericana Bucaramanga. Our whole team, Elena Arenas, the cultural director, Rosabel, Diego, and myself are very happy to have here with us Sunday 3. Sunday,
Hi, everyone.
welcome, Sunday. Sunday is a 26-year-old Mexican artist who got back into traditional mediums after AI took over the digital art space. In direct response to the dominance of the AI-generated art, Sunday's work centers on the very essence of what it means to be a human, as well as on our relationship to the natural world. She draws inspiration from cave paintings, traditional folk art, and other vestigial expressions of human experience to imbue her art with universally recognized symbols and patterns, aiming to breathe life into a raw iconographic universe that resonates with both across all cultures. Beyond her life in the studio, Sunday finds solace in reading, doing yoga, and lately also playing chess with her boyfriend. So thank you, Sunday. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation. How are you doing?
Thank you so much for having me, Margarita. It's an honor to be here. I'm doing fine. Thank you. I'm a little bit nervous because this is my first interview ever. So I hope I do well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no problem. This is a very casual conversation, a very relaxed space we have here. And we're just gonna talk a bit about your art and like your vision on art in general. So I
Okay.
want to start by the beginning. How did you get involved with art? How this path starts?
Okay. Sure. Okay. So, well, I'm one of those kinds of artists who have been drawing since the very beginning of their lives. Like, I cannot remember the first time that I picked up a pencil. I'm guessing that I was very small. I think I've been painting like since the very beginning of times, and um, I think that I decided to get into arts professionally when I was around 16, probably 15, after I had like a very deep conversation with one of my uncles. Um, because originally I wanted to become a veterinarian. That was like my aim.
Same, same.
Oh, really? Okay, that's fun. That's a fun coincidence. But yeah, I wanted to be a vet. I loved animals. I still do. I love pets. I love dogs in particular, and so that's what I wanted to do. I thought it was a great idea. And then I had this like very deep conversation with my uncle, and he told me like, I think you're crazy. Like you should go into arts. You love art, and you can't stop drawing. And I think you should do it. No, you should go for it. And so that was a point in my life in which I decided that I should probably do it. I was very naive. I was very young still, as we all are when we are faced with the decision of picking a career, right? But I ended up going to university and studying visual arts. So that's what I did. And that's what I think has brought me here.
That's awesome, and that's a weird coincidence also because I had a talk with my aunt, not my
Mm-hmm.
uncle, but with my aunt, which
Okay.
she's an artist as well, and she was the one
Mm-hmm.
that pushed me to take that decision because I know it's like a huge decision that you have to take at an early stage of the life, and it can
Yeah.
define like a lot of things.
Yeah,
Work
yeah, totally.
related, it has a big impact, and
Mm-hmm.
it's not easy to take the decision, and there are a lot of things that play um into taking that decision, and art is a bold one because we all know it's a difficult path.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that's awesome, that's awesome. And I think it's really important to have people, close people, that really support you and that help us like take the leap, because it's frightening
Yeah,
in
I
some
totally
part.
agree.
Mm.
It's insane.
It is, and it's not because while doing these conversations with many different people, many different ages, very a very wide variety of people. Um, the common thing I found is that we all struggle within the art scene. Like it's really not easy, and you really have to be very like trust yourself a lot and keep on going. Like
Yeah.
that's what the one thing we need to hold on to.
Oh yeah, totally. I always like to say that it's a very different thing to enjoy doing art than to become a professional artist. Like it's two completely different things. And if you like art, you should really consider like very thoroughly and very thoughtfully becoming a professional artist, because you start facing like a very different reality, and your relationship to art changes a lot after you become a professional, I think. So it's something to consider.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And so let's talk about your work.
Okay,
How would you
sure.
describe your work and what would you say motivates you?
Okay. Well, that's a very complex question, so I'm gonna try my best to answer. But I think that at this point in time, I would probably describe my word as like a search for truths, like a search for some kind of meaning, like visual iconographic meaning. Of course, I'm not the kind of person who believes in like absolute truths or anything, but precisely because of that, I feel like through my art, I aim to find something that feels and looks like the truth, you know? So for the same reason, I'm very interested in like vestigial iconography, you know, cave paintings, folk art, things that have remained in this world through time, you know, in spite of the change and the madness and the wars and all those things. I'm very drawn to this kind of um, raw expressions of what it means to be a human. So, and also my work uh, revolves primarily around that, right? Like about what it means to be a human and what makes us human in relationship to nature and to each other. So that's, I think that would be like the first thing that comes to mind when I try to describe my art. But also because I don't really believe in truths, I don't take, like, I wouldn't say that my art represents like a truth, you know. I wouldn't say that about my art. I also think that my art is a little bit like fantasy world building, because it's me trying to experiment and play, you know, with these kinds of symbols and stuff until I end up creating like my own little universe of meaning, right? It's not really serious. Like I'm not trying to put truth out in the world. It's just like it's a little bit like a game and a little bit like a quest, I would say, something in between those things.
That's very lovely. It's like to follow the internal impulse we have and to be really honest about um, well, your personal desires and your personal vision of art, but to be very, very honest with with what you want.
Yes, exactly. Like I guess that I try to connect whatever whatever feels true to me, and also I try to connect that with like what appears to be like what matters to other people or what has
Mhm.
mattered in the past, you know, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. That's
Hmm.
beautiful actually.
Thank you.
Um, and I mean, when we chose this path, that's not easy. Have you encountered times where it has been very difficult for you to maybe produce something like you have some artist blockage? One of the things that really drawn me to your page and how I got to know you was because of also the texts you include on your posts in Instagram, for example, because I mean, in this world, it's not that common to find that kind of honesty and I think it's very helpful for people who get connected to your art and what you do, because we feel like we resonate with that. And I think that's a really huge part on what um, makes art also something that you like get drawn to.
Yeah. First of all, well, I would like to say that I am tremendously humbled by the responses that I've gotten to my, my videos and the content that I've put out there in the last
Mm,
few months. I didn't expect that, definitely. So I really appreciate all of the support, and as you well said, the resonance of so many artists and people who feel threatened by the pace of technology,
mm,
and how quickly things have scaled. It's like we don't even have time to adapt sometimes. That's how it
yeah.
feels like, right? And I feel like that's kind of like how the modern world has always been. It's just like once that very advanced technologies started settling in, it's like you cannot, there's no clear path anymore in the world.
Mm,
You don't know what to expect. Your career can change from one day to another, and that's very, very scary. And it should be, it is scary. We're not crazy, it's scary.
no.
I think that we humans need, again, we need to have certain guarantees, even if they're not like like as I said, like eternal truths or something. We
Hmm.
need certain guarantees that can help us navigate the world with certainty. And at this moment, that's what we don't have. We don't have
Yeah.
any certainty over anything, almost. And speaking of blockages and like artistic crises and all of
Mm,
that, yeah, that's like I've been there. I get it entirely. It's hard. It's hard. The world out there is hard, and trying to be honest and truthful right now is a complete challenge. Um, it's really hard. So yeah, actually, one of the things that I talk about in my posts is precisely that I've been struggling a lot in the past few years, because I've been trying to get a grip on the world, on what it means to be an adult. Also, I am in my late 20s already. I'm 26. So I guess it's that time of life in which we try to define ourselves, and we try to, get a career going and to have a life. And for me, it's been kind of hard. So that has led me to experiment a lot with my art, because of course, if one changes, one's art changes too. So I've been changing a lot in the past few years, trying to find a career, trying to adapt to life, no, to become an adult, and that has led to my art changing a lot too. My art has changed a lot in the past few years. Like, you can actually see on Sunday, I have some digital artworks that are very different from the traditional ones. I believe many things at once, sometimes contradictorily, right? Like in contradiction to each other. I am trying to yeah, like fix many things in my life right now, and I don't have the answers. I don't really have the answers. So that's been like my latest crisis. And don't even get me started talking about AI, because that's yeah, that's what I talk about in my Instagram page. I think
yeah.
a lot of that has drawn attention to people, because I guess that many of us, especially artists, are struggling with the fact that there's now much machines that can do what we thought
Mm,
was like,
unique. Like,
yeah, completely unique, like completely honest, completely raw, completely
or
unreplaceable.
repeat. Yeah.
Yeah, like machines are doing it now. So
In five
that's
seconds.
not, yeah, that's not just it's not just how do you say in English, like capricho? Do you know?
No.
Like
um.
yeah, I'm not sure. But um it's like oh, I forgot. Anyway, but yeah, it's not just us artists complaining about technology or progress. I think it's something that speaks deep to our core. It's like art is not what we do. art is who we are. And when art is being replaced, of course, we're going to feel replaced and used, especially if the images that are used to feed machines are stolen. Like, yes, we feel like that.
Horrible. Mm.
I think it's like an obvious thing. And so I've just been trying to voice my concerns and my feelings about that, and I'm really, really happy, and I feel very lucky to know that people have been resonating with that. I feel a lot less alone.
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge thing that exploded. Well, for me, it was kind of recently, or I don't think I have been paying much attention to my surroundings, maybe, but when it did, it was horrible. And even when, for example, artists have passed away and they are still stealing their images to create new ones, it's like, what are you doing? Like, why? And
Yeah.
I don't deny they, I mean, they are interesting. I mean, because you can play with a lot of things.
Yes.
I personally have not done that. I don't know exactly how it works,
Mm-hmm.
but it's really frightening and threatening because, I mean, I don't think art is about that. I don't think, like, I mean, and there are a lot of different artists, and there are a lot of people who might use it as an inspiration to, like, I don't know, to maybe I don't want to sound rude, but to not do the work yourself, and let's
Yeah.
put some words, and these will get me a lot of images, and I will then have a better idea or another idea of
Mm-hmm.
what I want to do. And I mean, I don't think art is about that, but that's to each their own.
Yeah.
Um, but it's very, very complicated, very, very complicated, and people just take it as if it was something that they have, like they have the right to do, like, and they are not really taking into account what it means to the person who you took the images from.
Yeah,
Mm.
exactly.
I mean,
Yeah,
and
and also,
we're
yeah,
not
no,
going
please
to
go ahead.
know. We're not going to know if someone stole your images in whatever country. I mean, it's how would we know? But
Yeah.
I don't think it's honest.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And also I always feel like a little bit tempted, I always feel a little bit tempted to fight small individuals, like individuals who use AI to produce art and to
Yeah,
sell it, for instance. Like, I always feel a little bit tempted to go ahead and fight them, and say, oh, you're so dumb, like, you don't know anything. This is a crime, um, but I always stop myself, because in reality, I think that maybe they're profiting a little bit, from AI art. Maybe they are profiting a little bit from stealing art. But the people who are really, really profiting are always the big corporations, always, And so I think that if we as artists have to stand for something, uh, or against something, is against these companies using AI indiscriminately. That's what we have to attack,
yeah, to target.
yeah, to target. Exactly. Thank you. And I do think there's people taking action already, and I'm really, really happy about that, because it's not just a robbery of ideas, as some people say. It's labor. It's time and sweat and energy and money that artists invest in their education, year after year after year, and that is running the risk of going unpaid now, completely unpaid. And that's very dangerous, I think so. I do think it's something that has to be regulated one way or another.
Mm. Yeah,
Yeah.
it totally has. It totally has. And also it leads to a lot of different conversations about, for example, safety, because um I've seen like this, I forgot the name, like face smash. I don't know the name exactly, where
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like you post a photo, and then they can like pasar. They can like
Um,
impersonate you.
okay, yes, 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 yes,
Uh,
yes, yes, yes.
and yeah, I don't know. It's kind of complicated. I don't know what the future actually looks like. I
Yeah.
think always it's been a little bit chaotic. I mean, a lot chaotic, and um, but it's not looking great. It's not
Yeah.
looking great. And art has been a very difficult field where with these tools it can be a lot more difficult, but we will see. I think the importance here is to keep doing art, to keep doing what it feels okay, and to be honest about it. And whenever I think people will still resonate, and we will find like our a little crew or a little public to that actually loves what you do, loves what we do. So I think it's important because I mean without art, I don't know how this world will look like. I mean we've always been it's always played a huge part in humanity, as you mentioned. So I don't think that it will disappear, but it will make things a lot harder.
Yes, I totally agree with you. I think it will make things harder for professional artists, especially digital ones in the upcoming years. But I also really, really believe in the resilience of human creativity. Like I really like to say that our creativity, our resourcefulness is not tied to like a wall socket, you know? And AI is like by definition, it is tied to a wall socket. So if electricity goes down, there's no more AI, but we will still have like our paintings and our ceramics, our like murals, everything. We will have everything, and we will be able to remain creative. And I think that's why I decided to veer also towards traditional art, traditional mediums rather, because they feel more resilient in that regard. So yeah, and this is not to say, of course, that everyone should now veer to traditional arts. Of course not. Like what has to happen is that AI has to be regulated, in my opinion, so that
Yeah.
artists who enjoy doing digital art can keep doing it. You
Mm.
know, it was just like a personal matter. But yeah, it's gonna get fun in the next few years, I think.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, what would you say is the art scene where you live?
Okay. The art scene where I live in is, I would say, not great. I live in a very, very small city. It's a very gray city. It's not very urbanized. And there's not a lot of culture here. I know maybe a couple galleries around here, um, but that's about it. That's about it. There's no, I think there's one museum, which is like the city museum or something like that. Maybe, and I also declare myself ignorant. Maybe there are many things that I don't know about, of course. But as far as I know, it's a very small city. So all of us artists who live here need to like kind of look around to see if we can show our art in nearby cities, like for instance Guanajuato capital, right? The capital of Guanajuato, the state of Guanajuato, is a very, very rich, vibrant city, full of life, full of tourists, full of culture. Like it's a beautiful city. It's one of my favorite cities around the world. Probably it's brimming with life, and I think that over there are many more opportunities. Also, I think in San Miguel de Allende, which we mentioned earlier in the conversation also. That's also a very beautiful city that has like many, many opportunities for emerging artists. So, so yeah, that's the state of the art scene where I live in, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think it's kind of difficult everywhere, and there are not a lot of opportunities. And maybe, for example, here, like the gallery space, and it's very, we call it here something, we say rosca. That's
Mm-hmm.
like I mean, if you are not in that movement, I mean, it's very difficult to enter. And then when there are like open calls and things like that, it's not that easy. It's not that easy, and also because sometimes you don't resonate with what those type of places like it's kind of complicated. It's kind of complicated. I mean, sometimes what you see is a lot of mostly young people getting
Mm-hmm.
together to make exhibitions, and I mean, there are a lot of places where you can actually show art. That's a truth.
Mm-hmm.
But like the big ones where, I mean, like the money is being made, it's
Mm-hmm.
difficult. It's difficult. And also
Yeah.
to say like the money is being made, it's like an understatement, I think, because I don't think, I mean, no one's rich. I mean, there are few little people who can profit a lot with art, but
Yeah.
for people that are starting and then have like a big career in art, like a lot of years of working with art and a lot of experience, it's kind of complicated everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the state of the world.
Mm.
Um, I had the immense fortune of traveling to California a couple years ago. I went to the Lightbox Expo. Do you know the Lightbox Expo?
No, I don't.
No. Okay. So, for reference, I used to be in the in the entertainment industry art scene. I used to want to become a digital like concept artist and character designer for for the film industry,
Yeah.
and that was like my dream. And so I invested a lot of time and energy researching about what it took and what I had to do and stuff. And I had the immense fortune to go to Lightbox Expo a couple years ago, which is like a very big event that happens in Pasadena, California. um about it's like for artists to go. It's like a convention, like an art convention. And
Okay, okay.
so yeah, so like all of the great like pop stars of the industry gather there, and they you can meet them and talk to them, and there's a lot of people selling art in stands. It's like a paradise, I swear. It's amazing.
Well,
Highly recommended, really. And so, I had the luck of going there, and I met a lot of very nice artists that were just graduating or had graduated already and were looking for work. And some of them told me like, yeah, no, I live here in California, which is like the best place to be in, I think, if you want to get
mm,
into the animation industry.
yeah.
And they were like, yeah, and I'm not like finding any jobs, like it's not, especially for like 2D artists, it's really hard.
Well,
Like, yeah, like if you're a rigger or if you're like a 3D artist or
mm-hmm,
like maybe a storyboarder, there's still like plenty of jobs and they pay very well. But for like 2D artists and
mm-hmm.
like um illustrators and stuff, I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm saying it's a little bit harder,
Wow.
to get those jobs. So yeah, it's kind of crazy out there. So even the people who live in like big cities,
Mm,
are finding it hard to
yeah.
to break into the industry. Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh, I would have think like there were a lot of more opportunities there, but
Yeah, the thing is, there are more opportunities over
mm-hmm.
there, but it's also a very competitive kind of
Field.
space. Yeah, a very
Yes.
competitive field, precisely because of how much like demand there is.
Mm,
Offer, I'm sorry, so many offered that people, like, you have to get really really good and connect with many people
mm.
in order to secure, a job or a project, maybe. That's the impression that I have.
Wow.
So
And
yeah.
you wanted to do like storyboard? You wanted to do
Oh,
you,
I
you
wanted yeah, I wanted to do like concept art.
Concept art. Okay.
Yeah, concept art and like character design. Like I'm a very, very big fan of character design. I love designing characters for movies and like
Mm-hmm.
stories and films. Yeah, no, it's like an absolute passion of mine. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah. But
Do you have
it's a little bit tricky.
it is, it is. Do you have
Yeah.
any big reference that you admire regarding the character design? Or I mean, I associate it with all the animation shows we watch, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, what do you like, and what have been your like big inspirations regarding this?
Oh yeah. Okay, so regarding concept art, for instance, I really, really admire Nathan Fawkes. Do you know Nathan Fawkes?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yes. He's like my hero. I love him. I've learned so much from his like color theory lessons and the way he paints. It's just it breaks my head. Like it's insane. I also really, really admire Angela Sung. I don't know if you know her.
Let me check her out.
Okay. Yeah, Angela Sung. I think she's a painter from. I think she lives in California too. I'm almost sure, but she travels a lot to Mexico. So maybe one day,
Oh,
we'll see each other.
oh, hopefully.
Yeah, yeah, she's super super cool. She's also a concept artist, I think. And in terms of character design, let me see who comes to mind. I just have a terrible memory. Who do I like? Um,
Maybe what series or what movies have been like a big inspiration for you?
Oh, okay. So, movies, I would say that I really, really appreciate Ghibli.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I really like the way that Ghibli and particularly Miyazaki crafts his films.
Mm.
I love Japanese storytelling, for instance. I also really enjoy American storytelling in a
Mm-hmm.
way. I am a big fan of Pixar, admittedly. Disney not so much, but
Mm-hmm.
Pixar, yes, I love Pixar. What else? Yeah, I think those are the main two, like the big ones. I also really like Avatar, like the
Mm-hmm.
Legend of Aang and Korra.
Yeah.
Those are great series. Yeah. Yeah, but it's been a long while actually that I had not recalled these kinds of things like since a long time ago. So yeah, I'm a little bit crusty in
No,
terms
no
of
problem.
references.
No
But yeah,
problem. Yeah, yeah, and those ones are quite big references.
yeah,
Uh,
I would say.
yeah, Ghibli is like another world that just very impressive, the
Yeah,
creativity Miyazaki has. I mean, it's
yeah.
amazing. And I also love about the Ghibli films is how they work with the music with Joy Hisaishi. That's the one
Yes.
that I mean, it's just amazing, amazing. Have you
Oh
watched the
yeah.
latest film?
Yes, yes, I watched it and I loved it. I loved it entirely.
It was amazing. It
Yeah.
was so
Yeah,
crazy
I
and so
know.
beautiful.
Yeah, it was amazing. Yeah. Um I hope it's really not Miyazaki's last film because I would
Mm,
really like to
yes.
see more of him. But if it is,
Yeah.
I will die happy. It's okay. It was beautiful.
Yeah. I found
Yeah.
it funny when I have seen this meme of Miyazaki, like how he is like very like all of his production is like so happy and so lovely and so like tender, and then he's like a bit
Mhm.
of on the somber side
Oh yeah.
on reality, and then they compare it to Junji Ito, which is quite the opposite. I mean, it's kind of funny.
Yes. Yes, exactly. Yeah, that's like a funny coincidence. I love that. He's like a
Um,
grumpy old man.
yeah, yeah. Um, so I haven't asked you, like, do you take commissions, or are you just mainly focused on your personal work?
Okay, so for this project in particular, I'm not taking any commissions at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, my inbox is always open. If anybody wants to, submit a proposal for work or something, I will be happy to check it out. I'm just not taking commissions in the way that I'm
Used
not open for painting like portraits and
to?
people's pets and stuff. That's what I'm not doing right now. I'm mainly focused on producing my own work right now. And maybe if somebody comes with like an interesting proposal, I will definitely consider working for them. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
I think it's really important to prioritize what you want to create at the moment, and I know commissions can like get in the way sometimes, and you
yeah.
get like to shift your mind, and then you get stuck in a loop of pet portraits forever. But no.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I've done commissions for a really long time
Mm,
in other for other kinds of projects, and yeah, I think it's time for me to rest for a while.
no, that's very understandable. And
Oh yeah.
okay, so what would you say to someone that wants to really get into the art path, considering all the yeah, all the difficulties we can face? What would you recommend to someone who is starting and aspires to live of their art?
Okay, sure. Okay, so first of all, I would say if you want to live off of your art, really think about it. Like, think about it thoroughly, and once you've thought about it, then think about it twice. Because what I always say is that it's very different to have a passion for art, to be passionate about consuming and producing art and studying and getting better and all these things. um, it's very different thing doing that than becoming a professional artist. It's two completely different things. I'm not saying that one is better than the other one. I'm just saying they're different. um, think that especially if you're a very young like person who wants to become a professional artist, um, I would say think like remember that your profession is meant to pay your bills. That's what it's meant to do. You don't need to like your job. You need to get paid, primarily. That's what I would say. And maybe I'm saying this from a place of a little bit of desperation and like insecurity, financial insecurity, definitely. But I'm also saying it because it's what I know, and I care I care for people. When I was very young, I decided to study art because I liked painting and I liked, watching movies and listening to music and soundtracks and designing characters and all of that. And so I thought very naively that it was a great idea to pursue a career in the arts. And while I can definitely say that it has, it can be a very beautiful and rewarding path, because of course you're not in it for the money. You're in it for the love of it, right? It can be a very, very rewarding path to find the truth and share it with the world. It's also a very tricky path. So I would say don't become an artist if you like to paint or if you like to do ceramics. Become an artist only if there's something like that's brimming inside of you, that's like lighting your heart, that you need to tell to the world. Otherwise, if you just enjoy painting, I would suggest you to consider it, like to really think about it. Of course, I'm not trying to discourage anyone from pursuing a career in the arts. I'm just saying um, that you're not any less of an artist if you become a hobbyist, um, than if you become a professional artist. Like being a professional artist does not equal being a better artist. It means you know how to make money out of your work. That's what it means. Only that. And well, if after thinking it through you still want to become a professional artist, my advice for you would be invest in learning about branding, invest in learning about sales, invest in learning about marketing, and invest in learning about probably social media. Because that's really, and this is unfortunate to say in some way, but those things are the things that really are going to help you level up your career and make a living out of your art. It really doesn't, of course it's important to do great art, but if you are in it trying to make money, those are the skills that you're really going to need. Like, you don't need to become like super good at doing like hyper realistic drawings, you know. That's not what's going to help you live off of your art. You need the skills, so harness them. That's what I would say.
That's a very down to earth advice, and it's a very, very complete advice.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I hope I was not too harsh.
No, just something to take into account when you want to
I would
pursue
say.
this kind of path.
Yeah.
No, but thank you
Yeah.
so much, Sunday. I don't know if there's anything else you want to share with us today.
Okay. I don't think so. I think I just want to say that I'm really grateful that I was able to talk to you, Margarita, today. It was an honor to meet you, of course, and it was a pleasure to be here. So thank you so much for having me, and I hope we can see each other soon.
Yeah, hopefully. Thank you so much, Sunday, for your kind words, your time, and you were very, very generous. And thank you everyone who joined us today. If you want to check out Sunday's Instagram, we will link it on the comments or on the description, so everyone can go and check out her amazing work and the thoughts behind this tricky but amazing path that's art, and that we have chosen to to follow. So thank you everyone, and see you next time.